Let's talk silicone sealant. Resealing your bathroom appliances. If you have a leak in your shower area, 90% of the time it could be due to poor sealant around the shower enclosure. It can be cracked grout as well, but something you can certainly look at as a homeowner is the condition of the silicone around your shower enclosure or bathtub or sink, whatever it may be. We've all seen terrible silicone in our lives. We've probably done it as well ourselves, made a mess of it. But I thought I'd share a video on how to reseal around your shower, and this includes removing the old sealant and replacing it with new sealant. There's a few helpful tips and tools in there which hopefully will make your life a little easier. All right, thank you. Great example of a terrible job here, and we're in the land of silicone and sealant. This is a job that a client has previously attempted to seal themselves, and yeah, with no experience or tools, they've made a bit of a mess. You can see that the grey is spread all over the tiles, and where it meets the tray it's actually split as well, so they've ended up with a leak developing on the ceiling downstairs. So today I'm going to try and explain to you how to take this off but also put a nice seal on. Tools you need: you want a wallpaper scraper, a Stanley knife and some sealant remover. A spare blade as well for the Stanley knife would be helpful. This scourer will come in handy if you are using the sealant remover, because it will just help bring off any excess. These are my silicone tools, which you can pick up on Amazon. They come in different sizes and different profiles. On this job I believe I'm using the 10mm and the 8mm profile corners, which just helps create that seal and a nice neat bead. Also, you're going to need some decent builder's wipes because they will get you out of trouble. These ultra grime wipes are brilliant, I couldn't recommend them more. As you can see here, I'm a very quick worker. Don't mess around, time is money. What I'm not doing here is just removing all that excess using the Stanley knife, the blades. Here I'm putting on the silicone removing tool, liquid. It's the no nonsense stuff from Screwfix, which you can pick up for, I don't know, it's not much, and it's actually one of the quicker working sealant removers. You can remove silicone after 20 minutes, so if you're a tradesman, very easy to use, and you can do it on the same job rather than revisiting. So you can see this is like the first attempt where I've gone around the shower tray and removed off the excess, because the idea of it is when you're using the silicone remover, you've got to remove the excess first and then apply the remover just to what's left. This is kind of what it will be looking like as you're once you've finished removing the excess or something like that. So this is after the silicone remover seal has been removed, and as you can see it's got off absolutely everything, well 99% of everything, and yeah, I couldn't recommend that stuff more. So with the silicone remover, you brush it onto the remaining silicone, it will then react and start to peel, and then you can start removing it with the Stanley knife and wallpaper scraper bit by bit. So getting down to business here, preparing your silicone, obviously cut off the cap at the end of the tube, but also when you're cutting the nozzle it's recommended to cut it at an angle, and that way when you're running the bead of silicone into the corners, into the joints, it'll just help you angle that in a way that the bead can spread evenly. As you can see, I've got all the surfaces prepared, so it's nice and clean. We've removed everything. I've also gone over the joints with the wipes and made sure the surfaces are dry as well, otherwise the silicone won't set. Here I'm lining up the profiling tool you just saw then, and I'm making sure that the profile that I'm using will seal adequately between the tray and the tile, and that all depends on the gap between the tile and the tray. It's actually quite a tight gap here, so I managed to get down to, I think it was an 8mm bead here. So I've spread it on evenly with the gun, and then I'm running over the silicone with my finger, a wet finger, so that the silicone doesn't stick to the finger as much. Then all I'm going to do is tidy this up with the profiling tool. I will point out as well, you could actually leave it like this, because the #1 rule here is to create a tight seal. As long as you've got a watertight seal, then it's technically doing its job. Aesthetically though, it just wants tweaking and making as even and neat as possible, and that's where the tools come in. But if you notice when you're applying the silicone that there's a gap and you can see the bottom of the tile or the edge of the tray, then that water will find its way through and you will develop a leak. But you can run over this as much as you want. I've noticed that there was just a bit of grey silicone left on the bead there, so I've dug it out and I'm just going to rerun over that and work it into the joint. You can play with this as much as you want for the next 10 minutes or so. It doesn't set instantly, it'll take hours to set, but you want to be working it into the joint for about 5 or 10 minutes. Here we've got the long edge of the shower tray. The same principle applies. The idea is when you're applying the silicone, just to press equally, evenly, not too hard on the silicone gun. Just keep your eye on the end of the nozzle and make sure you're getting a nice even spread. You can take your time with this, you don't have to run your silicone gun down too quickly, you can take it in your own stride. Again, just running my finger over the joint, pressing it into the corner, making sure we've got that watertight seal, and taking off the excess with the silicone tool. You can see that peeling up nicely. And the ultra grime wipes, which I highly recommend, just takes off that excess. Keep your hands clean, keep your surfaces clean, keep your tools clean. It will all help when it comes to finishing the silicone bead. I generally buy a fresh pack for each job, and I know I'm going to have enough then for finishing off. You'll notice the same thing happened here. Just got a few little stray pieces of grey silicone left in the new bead, which I'm just pulling out bit by bit. Very, very annoying, but it does happen. Stay patient. Wait. And then finally going over with the tool one last time, tidying it up, making it as equal as possible, looking for those gaps, making sure there's no gaps, because that is again the #1 rule. If there's no gaps, it's not going to leak. Exact same principle applies, doing the vertical edge, nice even spread, and then just a little bit of pressure to rub that silicone into the joint, again, those trusted builder's wipes have come in. They wipe all the excess off the tool and also off your hands. Just be sure to continually remove the silicone because it's great stuff, but it sticks everywhere. You'll go through a fair few wipes if you're doing an enclosure like this. Just remember the same principle applies if you're sealing a basin, if you're sealing around a bath, any sort of wet area inside a bathroom. Just use exactly the same principles. It's a little harder coming up the walls because the tiles aren't perfectly square, not like you've got a perfectly square edge on the shower tray, so you may find that when you're working up the wall like this, it takes a little longer. You'll also find that the silicone will kind of fall into each grout line as you go up. This is not too bad because the tiles are fairly large for a shower enclosure. If you've got the smaller metro tiles, the brick-like tube underground tiles, then you will find that it will be much harder. But just take your time and see how you get on. So as you can see, we're all finished now. This is the corner of the shower. I've tried to make it as neat as possible. Big transformation from a dark, messy grey silicone to a nice, neat, light bead. It's much more discreet, much neater looking, I like to think anyway. But yeah, I hope you found this video useful, and if you have any questions, I'll try to help you out wherever I can.